What's up, everybody? We're back with another video, and we're starting with what's the first Descendant, right? The first Descendant is a third-person, free-to-play looter shooter, and there is so much you can do in this game, from getting a dog to doing infiltration missions to beating bosses to getting different characters, ultimate weapons, different rarity weapons. And we're just gonna dive straight into that today and just talk about it for the new player experience. This is a new player guide for anybody that is just wanting to try this game out for the first time. There hasn't been a video like this in a very long time, I feel like. So I decided to drop this one for y'all, so y'all can just see what this game is all about and maybe give it a try if I do somehow guide you to see that you like this game and want to get the experience for it for yourself and actually give this game a try. So let's begin. We're gonna first start off with that when you load into this game, you're gonna have the first three characters to pick from. You're gonna have Ajax, Lepic, and Viessa, and you're gonna pick between those three characters. And after you made that first decision, you will go on to start your journey as becoming the best Descendant that you can ever be in this game. Now you're probably like, wait, who do I pick? I'm just gonna tell you, pick whoever you think looks cool to you, because they're all different and they're all unique in their own way. They all play just however you want them to play, and I think it's just very important that you pick whoever you think is nice. You will get other Descendants as you play this game. I promise you, it will not hinder your playthrough or anything that you will be doing in this game. Just pick whoever you think looks cool to you and rock out, man. After your first time completing the few missions that you have to do, the intro missions, you'll be loaded in and you will see this map. This map is just basically a general knowledge of where you'll be going from Albion to Kingston for the first primary times of when you're playing this game. Nothing too much. You can also look at the map when you're inside of it just to see how it breaks down better. I would say one thing I would really stress to y'all is do not sell any weapons, reactors, or external components. And you're probably like, yo, what is all that stuff anyways? Just remember I'm saying don't sell anything. Just dismantle all your stuff, because that is the best way to make like the most usefulness out of your equipment that you were getting and unlocking as you were playing this game and progressing. As the best way to do this, just remember to dismantle everything and do not sell anything, because if you sell things, you will get gold, which gold is good, do not get me wrong, but you will get plenty of this stuff as you play the game and progress. These other pieces of materials that you get from dismantling things will really help you out in the long run when you're playing this game and trying to craft things that you would need later on. Touching back on looking at this map, if you're playing this game and you're just starting to get into it, your main goal is to get to hard mode, so then you can do all the stuff on hard mode and get, you know, the best weapons and just equipment for right now. That's the main grind of the game, to get the best equipment and make your characters one of the best in this game so you can take down the bosses, which every time you're gonna go to a different boss after you clear a different area, which is like you would start in Kingston. I can't remember the order, but you would start in Kingston, then let's say you went to Echo Swamp, right? After you do that, you're gonna have to fight one of these bosses. So it's kind of like a gear check. If your guy's not doing too well, then obviously you'd want to like level him up a little bit more, spec him out a bit better, maybe get a different gun, maybe ask a friend, or maybe just public queue so it's a little bit easier for you. But your main objective is that you want to finish this so you can get to the hard mode and get the better equipment and better just overall experience of the grinding of, you know, you'll get better drop rates for different things, and it's just a lot more better if you're in hard mode, just overall in general. That most people will tell you to just speed through the campaign, which I think that's a pretty good tip. Just speed through it if you can. Try to get through all of it. And by the time that you're through most of it, you probably even have some things that you didn't even know you had when you were grinding, or if you're going for target farming for a certain thing, you'll probably end up having it incoherently just from playing the game, which I think is really important. I would also like to mention that you should just have certain goals for yourself. For me, when I started this game, I wanted some ultimate characters, which were Bunny, Lepic, and Ajax, and Valby. I ended up getting them very fast as I completed the game, because I already had some of the patterns, as I've been saying repeatedly through this video, that you will get these things as you just progressively play the game. When you get to hard mode, that's kind of when you want to start grinding and going for certain things, but you can do this in normal mode. I do not want to discourage you from trying to do this. Just the drop rates may not be as good, but certain hours and certain playtime you will get certain characters. As you play the game, you will unlock Bunny, the regular one, maybe about 2 hours into the game. So that character will really help you speed along through the process of getting through the character journey of this game and just the main campaign. I would like to also mention that all these characters are very obtainable. You do not have to pay for them. You do not have to pay for them, I repeat. That will make it easier to get them if you pay for them, but you do not have to pay for them. Again, you can grind these out and it will feel so much worth it and so much better that you grinded these characters and you know that you got them from your hard earned putting in that time and grinding over and over to get these patterns and drops and stabilizers and catalysts and enhanced cells. You will feel like amazing when you get this, I promise you. Please do not spend this money on this game unless it's just purely cosmetic. I think that's the best way to spend it. But then again, if you want to spend that money, go ahead and go for it. But for me personally, I like to play free to play. I like to grind for my thing, so I grinded and I got the characters I wanted. But just set these goals for yourself. Another thing I want to speak about is the leveling. So you will want to get your character to level 40, but you can also get your weapons to level 40. That is what you really want to do. I would say the weapon itself will be level 40, but you can have a weapon level of 100. That is the highest. But your proficiency level is kind of how you want to build around this weapon. Whatever weapon you pick, I picked the Thunder Cage because that's one of the first ultimate weapons you get in the game. And these are all the mods you can put on it. As you can see on the screen, there is a whole bunch of them that you can scroll through and list through. I think you should just really focus on beating the campaign. These mods come and go. They're really easy to get most of the time. And if they're harder, you can have a hard time getting them in regular mode. Hard mode is where it goes. You can also see that we can get crit rate, critical damage. All this stuff matters when you're building your weapon. We're not going to really speak too much on it right now, but I just figured I'd throw this out there for y'all that if y'all want to build your weapon, you can. You also want to use an energy activator or even catalyst, as I'm showing you now. We already used an energy activator on it, so we can't go any higher. It gives you more slots to put your mods in. The catalyst makes the mods cost less, so then if you want to use it for half the price, you can. You invest in a catalyst, which just all takes time and working and grinding, and you will get there, I promise you, if you enjoy this game. It's not that much of a grind. I mean, it is a grind, but it's not that much of a grind, if you know what I mean. It's just kind of like you use your time wisely each day, and you can get the things you want to get done in the day, and you can use these catalysts to make your module capacity increase, so there are lesser costs, and you can really just build the weapon that you want that could break the game, break bosses, whatever you want to do, just nuke things or not nuke things. Maybe it's just a pure mobbing weapon, or maybe it's just a pure bossing weapon. You can do all that with these mods and make it the way you want it to be, and that is one of the most beautiful things about this game. You can build whatever you want in a weapon, and certain things will do better than others and certain things won't. This is all to your creative mind. Obviously, people are going to want to go for damage. Obviously, crit rate, critical damage is pretty much the common use that people use for these weapons for certainty, unless you're running a different build that is maybe like a rocket launcher and you want to do for splash damage, something like that. Obviously, you'd want to spec into that, but that's just pretty much the general use of what you want to do for these weapons. They all have levels, weapons, presets. There's a lot of things you can do with them. You can even hit the equip recommended module slot, so then they can just auto equip the modules for you. Then we're going to touch on your modules for your Descendant. You have Transcendent mods, which you're probably not going to get till later on in the game, which is hard mode, but just your general use, you can put, equip recommended modules, or you can toy around with it for yourself to see how it works for you, and your Descendant modules will show up. And then here we're going to show you my max character that I have that is really pretty much at the end game where I want it to be. We can still upgrade it a little bit more, but you can see the slots are really full. We have a lot of catalysts. The catalysts that you can see are shown by the green numbers. And the way we built this character is just so that it works around her ability, so we don't really have to use her weapons that much. You can do that also too, or you can be a gun build, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. The sky is the limit, really. I'm not going to lie to you. You can build a character however you want it to be and still do fairly well. You don't have to do meta builds. There's no such thing as you have to do meta builds. I'm telling you here now that you can play this game however you want and have a great time just enjoying whatever it needs. Little things you want to do, especially like infiltration missions, intercept bosses. You can do this all however you want to do it. There's a lot of mods, as you can see, to go through. Again, you will get these as you play the game in the campaign. I cannot stress that enough. I think you will be fine if you just play the game. level your character up and try to just speed through it so then you can get the drops and the mods that you specifically want. But you can go for this in normal mode. It's just going to be a little bit more harder for you and you will have a harder time. But it is not impossible. If you want to test your luck with that, by all means, go ahead and try that. So speaking about what I was going to explain to you earlier, Mastery Rank is something that you will get as you play the game and level up different Descendants and different weapons. This just is a general, you get more slots, more equipment, more mod capacity, stuff like that, pretty much. You get more and more benefits as you keep going up. As you can see, I am not level 30 yet. I am only 18. When you hit 18, you can also get some other things, but we're not going to touch on that because this is just a beginner's guide. What I'm saying that you could get is void intercept missions, which is over here, but we're not even going to touch on that because this is just a beginner's guide. I don't want to get too ahead of y'all selves and make this way more complicated than what it is. This is really important, man. I'm not going to lie to you. If I would have known this a lot sooner, this would have helped me out. But I'm going to say that your reactor and external components go with you as you level. This is very important that you switch these out as you play. If you don't switch these out, it'll cost you. As you can see, we're showing you that if you don't know what reactor you need, it goes to your character. It shows you when you're loading in your character. You have, toxic, fire, electric, non-attribute, chill. There's a whole bunch of different reactors that you can get. But as you play the game, you want to switch these out to the level you currently are or currently trying to get to. Whatever the biome is that you're in, whatever it is, let's say it's 50, you want to get to 50. You want the 50 reactor, you want the 50 external components. That's very important. I would say the external components is where people really mess up and they don't know how to progress farther into the game if they're just hard stuck on an intercept boss. I would say really just try to get these components closer to the level that you need them to. Everybody says you need a spec in the defense. I'm kind of the opposite. I would just say you need about 10k to 15k defense. As you can see, we don't even have that. We just spec'd into a lot of health so that I can still take a few hits and still be alive and be fine. I think that's very important. I don't think you should expect all the way into defense because defense just gives you a reduced damage number. So that means if the guy still shoots you, you're just going to take reduced damage, not the full 100%, which is great. You need that, obviously, in a game like this when there's a lot of mobs and ads around you. I think that's perfect. But again, you still want to have health or shield, whichever one you decide to spec in. And these all give you different things. As you can see, we have max HP, you have, max shield, you have max defense. You need all these things, and you would want to have a little bit of all these things together. I spec into health really for most of my builds. That's just my personal preference. I feel like I can always stay up as I'm using these, and defense just makes you have less damage taken, and that's great, but you don't want to just sit there and be a bullet sponge. You want to have some health or at least some shield so you can at least take some hits because you're going to get shot. That's just how it is, and I think this is very important. So just remember to keep leveling up your external components, or not even leveling them up, just switching them out as you level up. That is a better way to explain it, especially with your reactors. You will do more damage, you will survive longer. That means you will kill more things. The more longer you can survive, the more longer you can progress through the story. So this is just all good things to know as you're playing. I feel like a lot of people do not really invest in this and just leave the starting reactors that they have or the starting components and don't even touch this. Then they find out what all this stuff is later on in the game. Telling you here now, this is very important. I think this is one of the important things I wish I would have learned at the beginning of the game because I was just like, well, I have no health and I keep going down, and then there was another guy that would just keep rezzing me, and I don't want to be that guy on the ground, and I know you don't want to be that guy on the ground begging on your knees and hands for somebody to revive you, right? So you want to have the health or shield that you want. Just make sure you just, always swap out your external component after every or so mission that you do. Just check your external component to reactors. Be like, hey, man, let me see if I got one real quick. Swap it on, swap it off, see which ones are better. And you'll just progress very well in this game, and you'll do better. You'll have a better time. You'll have a blast playing this game. I promise you, it'll just make your life 1,000 more easier. I'm telling you, it just make everything easier if you just swap these reactors out and external components and just really just make sure you're always changing them. I know I've said it like at least 3 times now, but I really, really wish that I knew this when I first started playing this game because nobody told me and I was struggling a lot and kept going down. That is pretty much all I'm going to give y'all for this. With that, I would like to say this is very much the beginning of a journey for y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is where you pick your Descendant, you grind out, get the other Descendants that you want, and you really just figure out how you want to play the game. That's the best part of this game. You figure out what you like, what you don't like. You customize your character, you use the different abilities, you go on different missions, you do different things, you do the intercept bosses. There's so many things you can do in this game that I can't even explain it all and give it the best explanation and just give this game credit for. I think y'all can figure out how to do different things in this game, but I wanted to give y'all the general basics of just how to build your character with using mods, just explaining that you will get them as you play the game, with external components, reactors, making sure they match up. I think you will be having a great time by the time you are playing this game and tried it out for yourself. I think this community is very well knit together and the devs listen to us, so that's very good. Something that's not right, people will change, and I think they do a very good job at listening to what we want and don't want in the game and just giving us good content. This game is fairly new. It's not gonna be like, oh, this game is better than Warframe. You cannot compare these two games, I promise you. This game is it's really new, man, compared to Warframe that's been out for like at least 10 plus years. You can't compare them at all, and I think this game is just good. So with further ado, I just want y'all to really just get in there, try this game out. If you like it, you know, I hope you like it. If you clicked on this video, you just looked for a guide. I hope this guide helped you out personally. All I wanted to do was just help you and make sure that you knew that maybe if you're struggling somewhere in some parts, maybe you gotta look at your external components or maybe your mods for your Descendant or maybe your weapons, and maybe you didn't even know you could do this or that. And that's my main goal for y'all, because I didn't know a lot of these things or tips when I first started playing this game and picking it up, and it really helped me to learn and just figure it out. And I hope I can help you out and just help you have a better time of ease with just getting into the game and learning the mechanics and just becoming better and better at this game, because you'll probably be better than me by the end of the year when you're playing this game more and more and more. And there's just so many things you can do, and I hope that you can just enjoy this game, get the best out of it, get the best time out of it, grind for what you want, grind for what you need, do what you want to do, and play it how you want to play, because that's one of the best things you can do. You don't have to do the meta in this game. There really is no such thing as a meta. You can make your own meta. If you want to go around being Ajax, blowing everything up, you can. You don't have to be the bubble guy that sits in the back, you know what I mean? There's so many things you can do in this game, and with that, I hope I really helped y'all. If y'all need any more help, just leave a comment down below and I will try to help each other. If anybody else is watching this video that's not a beginner, if y'all could chime in and help these other people that do not know certain things, that'd be great. And with that, peace, guys.